YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here. Yet again, it is our week 3 already. Week 3 recap. And also talking about tonight's, probably one of the better Monday Night Football games in a while. We get to talk about the Lions and obviously the Ravens tonight. Join as always, Stu. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I had a great weekend. Did a lot of fun stuff in real life, and then came back on Sunday and won some bets, which always feels good. Obviously, that's what we try to do here. So, yeah, I really can't complain. Little 9-2 weekend, one of my best in a little bit here. So, NFL treated me well. Got a couple garbage time cashes, but hey, at the end of the day, the money's still green. And we got a great game, like you said, tonight to talk about. So it's always good to kind of carry that momentum over. We got, a 53 total. Whether you're betting it, whether you got fantasy, whatever. If you're a football fan, you're going to enjoy this game tonight. And with a total like that, it also creates a lot of interesting betting angles as well. So excited to dive into it and break this game down. Hopefully get some winners.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we going to talk a little bit about the slate from the weekend. We can talk about that a little bit here before we start jumping into, obviously, a really good football game. Anywhere you want to start here, Stu, before we get into, obviously, recapping all of our stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that 1 p.m. slate, I don't know, I know a lot of people probably watch Red Zone. How about just blocked field goal after blocked field goal after blocked field goal? I mean, just that sequence at the end of those games was truly insane. I was saying this before it started. I couldn't believe Rams-Eagles wasn't like a primetime game. You get the playoff rematch. You get two NFC beasts over there, and that game delivered. I mean, it looked like a playoff game out there. Eagles go down early. I obviously had the Rams in that one, and it turned into really one of the most heartbreaking losses I can remember in a long time, where not only did Hurts battle them back into this game, did the Eagles grind it out, they fucking, not only do they win, they block the field goal, and you don't even get the Rams plus 3.5. You don't even get the fucking cover thanks to a blocked field goal touchdown. So, man, that was a heartbreaking loss right there. And I'm sure if anyone else had Buccaneers out there as well, you saw that game with the Jets going from looking like they were getting crushed, looking like they had no shot. Jets were barely competitive in that game to randomly fucking leading with 2 minutes left at the end. Luckily, Baker Mayfield does what Baker Mayfield does best. Absolute grinder, gets the job done. But man, no Mike Evans as well is a little bit scary going forward. But they do get, I believe, Godwin back this week. So crazy games. I really enjoyed the 1 p.m. slate, and a lot of madness was going on, obviously.
Yeah, man, it was pretty wild. Obviously, my team did not do well with that one, with all the crazy shit there. But hey, give a shout out to that defense, man. That Browns defense is fucking good, man. I'm gonna have to make sure I look into them a little bit more when I am looking into props. But my God, I've been playing a lot more defensive props, and I played Schlesinger. I had him over 7.5 tackles, assists. Boy had fucking 2 sacks. I think he had 12 tackles. They're just flying around. That's what happens when you let these teams stick around, like with the Jets and with all these teams that, Buccaneers, obviously much better than a Justin Fieldless Jets team. But obviously they made it a game and made everything interesting there. So that's why everybody has to play every week. So let's get into a recap. We got 25 of you guys in here. We appreciate you. I'll just get my shit out of the way because, God damn, that was tough. I had Dak at 259.5. He was at, I believe, 251 with 5 minutes left, and they pulled him after allowing a 10-minute drive that sucked the entire fourth quarter. He had 250 yards going into the fourth quarter. I'm like, we're chilling, bro. And then I actually had to do all right, we'll go quick life story here because it's kind of funny. Not funny. It's funny now, but not funny at the time. We were going for I always do our half training, our marathon training, before the slate. So, I feel like I earned it and I'm good and I don't have to do shit, right, for the whole thing. This is after a wedding. We had a wedding the night before. So I was pretty blitzed up there. So I get up, I'm like, all right, we're going to just suck it up and do this. And we go like a half mile in, and my wife just fucking eats shit, turns her ankle on the side of the fucking right when you go from the road to like a crosswalk type of thing where there's like the little thing that like there's like a little space there. Turns her ankle, just scrapes the shit out of her knee. I'm like, oh my goodness, great! And we had to fucking go back. She's like, all right, we'll do it later. I'm like, fuck, I got the Cowboys game later. I'm like, fuck. So I ended up going to a bar for the Packer game, which was great, but come back, missed the entire second half because we're doing the run because obviously we couldn't do it earlier because she was bloodied up and shit. So that was fun to have that experience. But that was I didn't get to watch the second half, and then all of a sudden my chat's just going crazy like, what Joe fucking Milton? Really? Yeah. Having to deal with Joe fucking Milton? That sucked, bro. That hurt. Yeah, I did not expect to see Joe Milton in a game with a 1.5 point spread when it opened. And they were the favorite. And I was not expecting to see Joe Milton in there. So, holy shit. That was rough.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, like, this one should have went over. It's just unfortunate. It's like you can't. It feels like shit when you lose it, but like it was a good call. I mean, you had the opportunity. The game script actually kind of went in your way. It was just like
it was feeling pretty good.
It was the whole third quarter. I mean, it was just run. They literally ran 11 plays in a row, something like that. Just run. Absolutely milked the clock, and then they kind of just threw in the towel at that point. So unfortunate, but it was the right idea.
Yeah, brutal. But shout out to one tight end who showed up, and that's Jake Ferguson, bro. Shout out Wisconsin. The Badgers suck. But Ferguson obviously did his thing there. You got a nice winner here on an absolute fucking horrible game. Fuck the Vikings, bro. They just ruined my entire fantasy week by themselves facing those guys. But obviously we get the win there. Very weird. They kept all their starters until like 3 minutes left. And I'm like, you guys are down by 40 and haven't moved the ball with your starters. And now we're going to – it was just weird because Jamar Chase was catching passes in the fourth quarter against backups. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, really got to go for that Triple Crown, bro.
It was nice. I had some Jamar 5 receptions as well, so that was good that he got into garbage time, got over. But, yeah, Chase Brown, I mean, this was ugly. I was just – not watching this game, so I'm just ESPN box score every once in a while, just going back to it. And the game script was perfect for it because they obviously got fucking destroyed. Jake Browning couldn't even throw a check down. He was getting picked off on him. So, I mean, just everyone in the world was complimenting him, the completion percentage last time out. And then, man, Brian Flores said, hey, welcome to the NFL again, buddy. It's a little bit harder than you remembered it, and just kicked his ass. So shout out to the Vikings. Like I said, I talked about it a little bit. I had a freaking preseason bet in this game, a look-ahead line on Bengals plus 1.5, thinking I'm just getting fucking Joe Burrow against J.J. McCarthy, and instead I get 2 backups. So that was unfortunate. But, yeah, Chase Brown got the job done, plus money. It was sweaty, but, yeah. Shout out to him despite that disgusting game right there. Who's even their third string quarterback? I don't think they can go anywhere after Browning.
No, it's Chase Brown as a Wildcat. That's pretty much what they're going to probably do.
I'd be cool with it, honestly.
But speaking of a team that got smacked, talk about the Titans, bro. Fucking, I had Tyler Warren. I think he had 35 yards with a couple minutes left in the second quarter. And then I don't think he had one catch in the second half, or maybe a one catch for like 4 yards, something like that in the second half, because they just did whatever they wanted at any point in time, and nobody can stop. The Colts actually look really fucking good. It's crazy, bro. Shout out Daniel Jones. Oh my God, dude. I have like 3 or 4 of these best ball teams that are Joe Burrow, Daniel Jones. And I'm fucking in first with no Joe Burrow, dude. And it's just, I'm getting zeros, and here's Daniel Jones just repping up 25, 20. It's like, dude, shout out Daniel Jones, man. Giants fucking tossed him to the fucking curb, and probably the best thing that's ever happened to him, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, he went to the playoffs, but I mean, it's probably looking like they might again. So I hope the fall off happens soon, obviously, as I am a Jacksonville guy. I correctly called the downfall of the Texans, which feels good because fuck the Texans. And then, of course, freaking Daniel Jones out of nowhere is 3-0 and going to be the pain in my ass all year. So good win for the Jags there. But, yeah, I mean, Colts took care of business. I was hoping the Titans could be a little bit more competitive. But, man, Cam Ward just – the guy who reminds me of people aren't going to like. He reminds me of Zach Wilson a lot. so far where he makes a couple plays where you're like, damn, that was a nice throw, like good work. And then there's just so many like rookie like plays, which you wouldn't expect given how much experience he does have as a starter in college as well. Not like it's his first time around here. And also, why does every nice throw you make have to be on the run completely across his body to the other side of the field? That's a shit fucking idea in the NFL. It's not going to keep working, even if you got two of them so far that are good. So I don't know. I think that I like the highlight throws, and I like those accounts that go, guys, you got to stop box score watching Cam Ward. He's actually pretty good. But, like, you can do that with a lot of high-level picks. Like, there's a lot of guys that make good throws and then suck. And I think Cam Ward's kind of doing that right now. It's giving me Zach Wilson vibes. So I think he's better than Zach Wilson. Hopefully we see that. Maybe some coaches need to be fired. Maybe Calvin Ridley needs to learn how to catch the ball. He's looking awful out there. I don't know what's going on, but just a very disoriented offense in general. And obviously, like, the Colts just kind of took care of business. There wasn't really much urgency, despite the fact that Warren still was, fairly involved early in this game.
Yeah, and then they just threw it to everybody else. I mean, I think every dude, they spread that thing around like crazy. I saw Pittman had a touchdown. We saw Pierce. I thought Pierce was done for the year, bro. He smashed his head against the fucking ground. And he tried to get up and did one of those like things on his back where he couldn't get up because I thought he was concussed unbelievably bad. But I don't think he came back in. But yeah, luckily he was able to like walk off with someone. But yeah, it was crazy. So the Colts keep winning, dude. And then obviously you got your under here, which is great in a game that, kind of turned into blowout city.
Yeah, I mean, this one was like the game script was awful for this. You know what I mean? Like, this was perfect to just get a heavy dose of DeAndre Swift. We were avoiding it. They were going pass heavy early. Even up until halftime, where they were still up by a good amount. And then once again, that third quarter drive, DeAndre Swift. I mean, every single touch. So it was a little bit sweaty there, but hey, luckily he didn't even come close, even though he touched the ball every single time on that drive right there. So ended up in like the 30s or something like that, pretty sweat free. Yeah, feels good to get an under like this and not even really have to sweat, despite the game script being awful for me. They got some DJ Moore in there, they got the rookie in there. And yeah, I just don't think DeAndre Swift is very good as a between the tackles runner. So, we'll see what happens going forward. I don't know how they line this guy. Like, man, I don't know. It's like DeAndre Swift touching the ball 15 times on the ground is a bad idea. If you get him 5 catches and 10 carries, that's the kind of DeAndre Swift I like. So if they're going to keep putting him in like the 50s, the 60s, then definitely want to be taking those unders.
Love it. Let's get to our last picks of the week, which was our dogs. You kind of talked about yours with the Rams. That was horrible, bro. That was absolutely horrible. And he didn't even need to return it for the touchdown either, bro.
I know. He could have ended the game and gone down, but no. But whatever. I can't get mad at that. If you're a big guy, you got to get the touchdown. Can't be mad.
For sure. No, I agree. I agree, definitely. And, hey, salute my boy Bryce Wilson. Or not.
Bryce Wilson.
Bryce Young. Bryce Young. And I had a Bryce Young lineup, and I was so pissed that I had him. I had a Bryce Young lineup, and then it just blew up because the Falcons couldn't do anything. I'm like, dude, Bryce Young is he gonna be the guy to win it for me this week? Like, is he gonna be that guy this week to put up some big boy numbers? Well, I was not expecting a straight up win, bro. I was not expecting a straight up win, but that is 3-0 dog pick so far this year for your boy. 2 of them taking the money line on those. I don't know, man. I agree with Coop, man. I don't think I have lost a Panthers dog pick yet. I mean, obviously, a lot of them were last year when they were like fucking 16 or 14 point dogs. Yeah. So I don't know how much those count because they were getting like 2 touchdowns because of how horrible they were. But hey, shout out to those Panthers. Shout out Canellis. They looked awesome. They looked really, really good. And Bryce Young doing his thing, man. Doing his thing.
Yeah, no, that was nice. I mean, I feel like we kind of nailed the segment once again. Like Panthers, you obviously ended up having the most sweat-free bet of the slate here with just a blowout going the other way. And once again, Rams really should have been a winner right there. Then, hey, if you listen to the show, I talked up the Browns like crazy as well. I should have been less of a pussy and actually pulled the trigger. But you don't want to have like the biggest dog on the slate, But I love that Browns matchup right there, and it was good to see them pop off as well. Just kind of what we talked about in the show, like 2 weeks is a very small sample size, and you're going to see some, teams look a little bit worse than they've looked in the past. Justin Herbert, right? The Chargers should have lost that game. Bo Nix, who that's the one thing I want to talk about before we move on. Bo Nix fucking sucks. He was pretty good last year. I was the Bo Nix hater last year as well, which was annoying because I obviously had his unders a lot in the beginning, worked pretty well, and then eventually he looked pretty solid in the second half of the year. Start of the season, where was that Bo Nix from last year? The dude looks awful. I mean, he's single-handedly been the biggest detractor to this team's success so far. He can't get wide open guys the ball downfield. The defense is producing turnovers. They're winning the turnover margin. And, man, he just can't even move the ball. Even with guys like Dobbins playing better than expected.
He's playing really good. Dobbins' numbers are really good.
It's surprising because I bet him the first week and he started slow, and then he just rips off a 20-yarder. He just kind of slowly grinding you and then rips off a big play. So we need the Bo Nix problem is reaching some tough levels early in the season because you can't be fucking around like this when you're in a division with the Chargers and the Chiefs. And even Geno is sneaky to steal a win or two from you as well. So,
hey, I gotta give my my one dude my props. I have like 13% Trey Tucker. Holy fuck, dude!
Yeah.
A quick 50. I can't believe I had a Geno stack this week. Of course, with Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, and Geno is just cooking. And I'm like, dude, I'm loving this, bro. I'm gonna be going off. I'm gonna be towards the top. The other two are fucking little snowflakes by those motherfuckers. Because Trey Tucker took everything, dude. 145, 3 touchdowns. Had to give him his flowers. So you don't see numbers like that, man. You don't see numbers like that very often.
Yeah, he's been in my top 10 ownership 2 years in a row. Fun fact. Last year was a complete dud, but so far so good this year. Obviously, that's going to pay off his ADP so far. I mean, he's like Tutu Atwell, in my opinion. Just a really good, kind of like these guys in my head are all like Calvin Austin too. They're all like budget Tyreek Hills, right? They're fast, they're small. You can't use them in like the traditional wide receiver way, but if you have creative offensive coaches that can put these guys in good positions, these guys are fucking valuable. Even Turpin has been showing it over the years. Like if you actually just give these guys touches, being fast as fuck is a really good skill to have in the NFL. Thorne the other night, the guy was on the practice squad and now he's catching 30-yard bombs every week. He couldn't even make it on the Patriots roster. And now he's catching, you know what I mean? It's just about being in the right position. And it's good to see a guy like Trey Tucker finally get someone that is using him correctly. And I know the Raiders look shit. Their offensive line is awful. It's so bad. Genty's getting so much hate. The guy gets hit before the line of scrimmage on every snap. I don't know what he's supposed to do. Even with that, still breaking some tackles, good contact balance. Like he clearly looks like a good back. So I don't know. Geno is in hell every play. He's scrambling. Like Washington's D-line sucks. And if they're doing that to you, it's a really bad sign. So I would have a lot of concerns with the Raiders, like going forward, just because that O-line could not keep them in a game against Washington backups. You know what I mean? Like Washington lost Harris during the game, like more injuries, and they still just couldn't get anything going. So that O-line is going to be a big, big problem for them going forward. And it's tough to bet Genty unless you're going against like the worst D-lines in the league. But I would say Washington is arguably one of those outside of my boy Payne in the trenches fighting. So, we'll see what happens. But this is a pro Geno show. Hopefully they give him some cupcake matchup going forward and we can take advantage.
Yeah, because I mean, what did he throw for 400 almost? He almost threw for 400. I think
I have no clue. None of it mattered.
Yeah.
They were getting crushed. Like
but I'm saying like I'm pretty sure he ended up leading the league in passing yards this week. Yeah, he threw for like 360, 370 this week. Because I always check now every week at the end. I always check, Dak, where you at, bro? And he's 4th. And the fact that you can say Russell Wilson was in first for a week throughout the NFL season at any point shows you. Because my God, that can we just I tweeted this last night. I'm like, bro, we just boycott the fuck out of Chiefs primetime games. They're the most boring games ever, dude. I shut it off after the first quarter, and that's with bets in it, bro. I shut it off after I could not watch it. It was It was a horrible watch. I mean, I know people will say, "Hey, at least we have football, bro." I don't know. My eyes hurt. I'd much rather watch baseball than that. Like a billion trillion times over than watching Mahomes try to do all this shit. Watch Russell Wilson have like throwaways with 3 yards. Like he had room. And I'm like, dude, how is Malik Neighbors not ringing this dude, Homer Simpson, ringing this dude's neck right now? Holy fuck. That was such an awful watching experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was catching up with the friends, so I was like watching it on the TV, just no engagement whatsoever. Like if the game was somewhat interesting, I would have tuned in more, but I was just kind of half watching it. So I was just when Thornton longest reception, he cashed it. That's all that mattered to me in that game. And someone said Scattaboo as well. Hey, after week 1, I want to point out, I got on the show. I said, look, I know he only had 2 carries for -2 yards, but that guy's fucking good and he's going to play. Already probably top 15 pass blocking running back in the league right now, which they need with their dog shit offensive line. He can catch passes. Maybe not going to rip off a 50-yarder, but just a tough guy that can break tackles. I mean, Scattaboo's looking like a great pick in fantasy. And if he's somehow in your waiver wires out there or something, he's just going to keep on playing more because that guy's tough. And that kind of pass blocking stuff, it really does earn you like those reps, especially when you're a rookie. Because they need all the help they can get back there.
Yeah, and it's tough too to see Tracy go down. I like Tracy obviously as a pass catching back, but I saw his shoulder got separated. And another one who went down too was Connor, James Conner, done for the year as well.
Was that the year? Damn, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously I don't like people getting hurt, but like that was just like. So early on in these years, they fucking just run him, and they just run him. I'm like, he's what, 31, a lot of miles, 32, whatever, how old he is. Like, Benson was getting all of the catches, which is great, but it's like we're still getting 20-something touches for James Conner. And he's old, bro. Like, let's pull back a little bit here, at least early, and just like give him a chance to like work into the season. Nope, he's out for the year. I think it was some ankle thing. So that sucks. Obviously, don't like to see guys go down.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, I mean, Connor, absolute beast, been a tank in the league for these last couple of years. But it's NFL. It's unsustainable to go 1,000 yards 80 years in a row. You know, it's hard to do. So hopefully he heals up and, comes back strong. But like you said, Benson's going to be a good option going forward as well. I'm not sure who their third stringer is, but I don't think it's anyone that's going to – I know they had a pass catching guy. I forget his name. It's like, fuck, he has a recognizable name. It's
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know, whatever.
DeMercado.
Is that it? Yep. Yeah, DeMercado. Yeah.
Something.
Is that the first name? Yeah, exactly. It's like I can see it in my head, but either way, like no one that's gonna steal like. It's not like a Cam Akers kind of backup. Not that he was actually involved, but you know what I mean. Like someone that's really going to get in there and could take your actual workload. He's not going to do that.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. But yeah, did have a lot of the Trey Benson stash. He's my highest owned exposed running back, along with Austin Eckler. So I guess you win one, you lose one. I fucking lost Eckler, and Benson obviously is going to be taking the push. Emery, that's what it was. I only know E. It was just E. DeMercado.
Yep. It's like I probably played his like 1.5 receptions at one point in my life,
Yeah.
But
yeah. So with the long shots going down as well, I think we're at minus 0.46. But we have a good slate here today to talk about. Stu, I mean, we have probably the best primetime game, at least so far, this season. We have the Lions traveling to Baltimore. What a brutal spot. The Lions traveling to the Ravens. I believe the total is 54 places, 53.5. Some other ones. I'm seeing DK at 53.5, so I will keep it there. We have the Ravens at minus 4.5 here. So feeling good there. So I'll let you take it away here as we get things rolling into our first talk about this slate. What do you want to talk about here to start, and which one of the 4 sides are you rolling with?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little tricky because I feel like the line has kind of been all over the place, with this one. Like, where I liked it in the 4, like at the even 4 range, but as you get to 5, and even I saw some 5.5s at a certain point, it's kind of like, well, that feels pretty fair. Like, I like the Ravens. I think the Ravens are the better team. And I think, honestly, the Lions just have a lot more questions to answer here. Like, I think we can all consensus NFL fans agree that, like, the Ravens are one of the 2, 3 best regular season teams, if not the best. They haven't been, like, losing outside of that last second loss against the Bills, which was a miraculous comeback. I would say the Bills is your only competition kind of for best team in the league right now. Like, man, you can say what you want, but like the Lions have a new offensive coordinator. They have a new defensive coordinator. They have a couple injuries that they're dealing with right now. Kirby Joseph. They've got DJ Reed. They've got Jack Campbell at linebacker, all questionable. Those are all impactful pieces. Like the Ravens can do everything a good team can do. They're just well rounded. They can run the ball. Lamar Jackson over the last 5 years has proven he can also pass the ball down the field better than almost anyone else in the league. And guess what? The Lions play a lot of man coverage. They play a lot of single high safety looks. You're going to have downfield opportunities. So 53.5 is a fair total for a reason. These two teams are both good. Their offense is rock. I just think we know a lot more about the Ravens. Like the Lions, the Ben Johnson effect, like losing those design touches, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, very valuable wide receivers, very hard guys to guard. What I like so much about Amon-Ra over the years, though, is like when you're betting his receptions, you just got like 3 to 4 baked in. You got to cut 2 screens behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe you get some kind of creative bubble screen. Maybe he gets a backfield target, some kind of unique stuff. The baseline is there. I just think that baseline's gone now. Same with J-Mo as well. J-Mo is playing more as just a traditional wide receiver. He's not this ultra speedy gadget and wide receiver 2 kind of combo anymore. And I'm just not we saw so much of the Lions' great offensive production come from that kind of stuff, right? What I think their offensive success now is going to come from is running the ball. Is that a pathway to success against the Ravens? I don't think so. Are they going to be able to pass the ball? Is Jared Goff going to have those 350 passing yard games maybe once or twice this year? Yes. Could this be one of them? Maybe. But I just don't know if I want to bet on it. So I'll take the Ravens. I think they're the better team here. I just think they have less questions to answer. But the Lions can prove a lot of people wrong that maybe that Packers week 1 showing was some rust not being shaken off, combined with getting arguably a top 3 defense in football, punching you in the mouth early and not being able to rebound. So the Ravens don't really get pressure on the quarterback. Neither of these two teams do, which is kind of uncommon for high-level teams. The pass rush on either side is not scary. And that's even more to the over. You're going to kind of expect some of these deep passes and stuff. So no opinion on the total. I'm not sure how the fuck you bet over 53.5. I don't want to be like, you're sweating all game long, even in a shootout. You know what I mean? So I would just say the Ravens, if I had to take a side, would be what I'd be going
with. Yeah, I'm a little cop out here. I'm gonna take that. If I had to take anything, I would probably take the first half. I would take like a first half over in this game. I would be kind of where I would like to go. Just because like you said, 54, dude, like we've seen a lot of these like third quarters to kind of turn into like a 3-3s, 7-3, and it's like, dude, if you're trying to go for 54, you need multiple touchdowns, right? I mean, you need touchdowns almost every other drive here. So I think I would go at that. I don't know what the exact number is right now for the first half over. But I think that would be kind of where I would like to go. That would be kind of my choice. It's like 26.5 is what I'm seeing. I think that's kind of where I would go if I had to choose something here, because the 4.5 scares me. I don't like that half. I'd rather if it was straight 4 probably, but just like that's kind of a scary number there. With you get a little bit there. But the nice thing is the Lions aren't going to kick field goals, so you don't have to worry about that. They're just going to fucking go for it every single time. And for me, it's just like, what are we going to see from these guys? I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball well. I don't think the Lions will be able to run the ball that well against these guys. And I think that's kind of what you've seen early in these games. There's like, all right, we're going to try and force our run game to do something. Yes, you have probably the best running back duo in the NFL, but this is a really good front seven, and you beat them down the field. That's kind of how we've seen it. They pass funnel the shit out of you, and that's where it's like I kind of have to feel like, as much as I hate to say it, like I kind of have to feel like the over is going to happen here because I think that they're going to have to chuck it. And that's where, obviously, I don't know which bet I'm going to roll with. I told you both of them. I think I'm leaning more towards the one now on the other side. Maybe I'll roll with that one versus my boy, but I'm sure I'll figure it out here in a sec.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good options in this game. Like when I was writing my write-up over on Substack before, I was just like, it's hard. Like I want to include like unders or at least like guys that I think could go under, and it's hard to get there. It's just really hard to get there in this game. Like, I don't know, like Rashad Bateman, maybe, you know what I mean? It's just like, you got to get to some kind of weird Mark Andrews who's been bad, but like his line is really low. Like, I don't know. It's just very, very hard with the 53.5 total, but hey, I know most of y'all don't want to bet unders anyway. So we're going to get a fireworks for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looking at the group right now, we got 48 of you guys in here live with us on your Monday afternoon. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're 30 minutes in. It's time to talk some props. Stu, I'll kick it over to you because I'm still deciding which one of the two I'm going with. I still don't even decide yet, but I'll let you take us away to start us off.
Yeah, just gave the show a little share. If you guys are in here, leave a like while you're here and drop a question because obviously we're going to go over our props and then we'll get into some Q&A and stuff like that after. I'm going pretty simple. We're going Lamar over 45.5 rushing yards, pretty widely available, MGM, Caesars, DraftKings right now. And yeah, I mean, this one was kind of one, I don't really play Monday Night Football props like before Monday very often, but I was scrolling down the board and I accidentally got to the bottom and I was like, Lamar, like I kind of thought 51 would be where we'd be. And with a 53.5 total, the fact that it was 42.5, now it's 45.5. The fact that we're in like the mid 40s here is pretty generous in my opinion, because one, Lamar Jackson has seen the Bills, who I mean, obviously had some duels with. They had Milano for that game. And not a good matchup, not a bad matchup, probably a middle of the pack matchup. He gets 70 yards, right? And then week 2 comes around and he gets one of the toughest matchups possible. He gets the Browns, a team that's seen him a shit ton. They practice ready for Lamar every week. Like he's just like the ultimate opponent over there. And they do a great job of shutting him down. But also, they won that game 41-17. Do you really want your quarterback running around in a game like that? No. So now we go to week 3. And despite that 70-yard performance in a much more comparable high-scoring shootout in week 1, I feel like the line is we're getting a little bit of a discount because of last week. But unlike a Browns team that sees, that practices for Lamar every week, that's seen him a bunch over these last couple of years, the Lions never see Lamar Jackson. The last time they saw this guy, their team was completely different. The roster was totally different. And it's just a tough guy to prepare for. He's obviously one of the fastest, shiftiest runners in the league. And the Lions have been one of our favorite targets for rushing quarterbacks over the years because, once again, they play a lot of man coverage, which is just good in general because you're going to get those opportunities downfield. And when you're getting pressure on the quarterback, when you're getting to them and you're forcing them in those passing lanes, then, hey, he's going to take off and scramble. He's going to pick up a couple of yards. They're also very good against the traditional rushing game. The Lions have a great D-line. Once again, the Lions have struggled on getting pressure so far this year. They're not actually good at getting to the quarterback, but they are very good at stuffing the run. They're very good at the line of scrimmage. And so I think that's just going to create more drop back opportunities. Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry. So he's going to probably have a good game. You know what I mean? Derrick Henry normally does have good games. He's one of the best players in the league. But I do think the Lions are one of the few teams. They're going to stack the box. They're going to get up there and they're going to make it pretty hard for him. And I think with more drop backs, obviously it's going to lead to more passing, but it's going to lead to more scrambles. It's going to lead to more Lamar rushing opportunities. And as we know, he is one of the few guys that is getting designed runs very heavily incorporated into the game plan. Obviously, as Henry goes up the middle, the gravity that he kind of creates, Lamar can take advantage of, keep it, take it outside. You can attack those linebackers. Anzalone is a good linebacker, but also they need him in coverage likely, especially against this tight end game. And then you got Jack Campbell, who's not as good in coverage, but he's questionable. If he doesn't play, that's kind of a big loss for them at the linebacker position, which means we could be taking advantage of some backup linebackers as well. So this feels like a 45.5 feels like a Lamar prop for a game with a total of 44.5. Like, just looking at it overall, if this game plays in anywhere near the offensive circumstances the total expected to, I feel like the only way Lamar isn't very close or crushing this number is simply if they are beating the crap out of the Lions. If we are getting kind of a a week one Lions team that shows up and they crash under pressure, which I don't know if that's going to be the case. Another interesting thing I found about the Lions, obviously we talked about their man coverage. In the past, they haven't had to blitz a lot because they've been able to get pressure without blitzing, which is huge in the NFL. Getting pressure without blitzing is like one of the best things you can possibly do, because obviously you just have more guys to then worry about the rest of the players on the field. Everyone's trying to get that, right? The Lions have been good at that in the past. This year, that's not been the case. They've been bottom 5 in both non-blitz pressure rate and pass rush win rate so far this year. So they're really struggling to get pressure. They're giving quarterbacks ample time in the pocket. And what's that resulting in? That's resulting in them actually blitzing at the 9th highest rate so far this year, which once again, blitzes, man coverage means scrambles, it means chaos, and it means opportunity for a guy like Lamar Jackson to make 10 people miss. So I don't know what his longest rush is. They make it high as hell. They make it almost impossible to play. But I really do think he breaks off at least like a 20, 25-yarder in this one on kind of a broken play. And then just the overall volume after that should be enough to get the job done. So, yeah, just a big Lamar fan. Surprised we're not in the 50s right here, and happy to play it pretty much up until that kind of 50, 48, number right there.
Love it, man. Love it. Obviously, it's tough to go against Lamar in any of these primetime spots. I mean, he's just that good. It's just hard to, like, how can I say under? I mean, unless he's taking like 8-yard kneel downs at the end of the game. He's just going to run 8 yards back and take a kneel. Like, that's like my only thing that you can really say against him, because he's been that good in these primetime games. And another guy who's been good in these primetime games. I'm going to do it. I thought I was going to roll with Goff, but I'm going to roll with Roquan because that's my boy. He's been my dude almost every single game so far this year, and I've hit him both times so far. The dude's got 25 tackles already, which is just absolutely absurd. And my biggest thing for Roquan is it doesn't matter the game script for him. Like, he's pretty much been game script proof, right, so far, because they had obviously the 41-40 just shoot out. Let's do everything. Let's have Josh Allen throw the ball 46 times, right? And he still got 10, right? And then the one I kind of want to talk about is kind of the way I think about this is like the Packers-Lions game first week, right? You saw Edgerrin Cooper go for 11. We saw Quay Walker get 10 in that game. And why is that happening? Because they got a pass rush on them, and they had to do the dump downs, right? They had to do those quick dump downs, and you just see guys fly to the ball. Well, we saw the exact same game script last week with the Browns, and he had 15 because they just chucked it across the middle of the tight ends. They filled it up to the running backs, and he's still able to obviously make all those plays in space. And not only rolling with some pretty high solo tackle marks, he's got 16 solos. He's at, like I said, 25 total with the assists there as well. I just think no matter what this game script is, if the Ravens are up 14, right, there's always those times in the fourth quarter where your team is up and they're just trying to run clock. You got to make one stop, and then they get the other one back, right? And then they get the ball back. And it's just those dump offs, and those dump offs are going to be where Roquan kind of shines, right? And that's obviously, you get Amon-Ra across the middle of the field, right? You obviously have Sam Laporta across the middle of the field. I know they got burners on the sideline, but they're going to have to dink and dunk quite a bit against this team, because I think that pass rush is going to be pretty damn good against this Lions offensive line, which we've already seen early on this season. So it doesn't really matter to me if they get up or they're behind, right? And a lot of these offensive game script spots that we go to, it's like, okay, we really want them to be in this spot here. We just saw these dudes beat a team by 31, and they were just dinking and dunking trying to make something happen here. So Roquan obviously leading the NFL so far through 2 weeks in the tackle assist market. He's been my guy so far. I'm not going away from him in this one. So sign me up for Roquan. Dude's an absolute beast, man. Sign me up.
Yeah, it's great. I bet this one before the show because I kind of just knew you were going to be on it in some capacity. Like, I'm a big fan. I agree. I see the whole world on Jahmyr Gibbs receiving, right? And now it's getting bumped up. It's at 4.5 now across the board.
Receptions?
Yeah. It opened 3.5, but obviously got bet up, and now yards are at like 30, right? My thing is just like, I would rather bet Roquan than Gibbs. If you're assuming all the things you want for Gibbs to hit those receiving peaks, likely a trailing game script, likely forced to check the ball down a lot more. It's like, one, we know Montgomery, he's not a receiving back necessarily. He's going to get still 2 to 3 catches. Even in the receiving game, he always comes in and steals a couple. Hey, guess what? You got Sam Laporta in the short yardage game as well. Guess what? You got screen to Amon-Ra St. Brown 7 yards at a time, 6 yards at a time. He's best over the middle. Like, this is all Roquan territory. He's going to be involved in all these plays. The guy is fucking everywhere. And then you look at the rest of their linebacker core. I don't know who the fuck Teddy Buchanan is. Trendon Simpson's a young guy that they drafted, has been hit or miss so far. Like, it's him. It's all him back there. You know what I mean? They obviously bring Hamilton up and they use him in the box and they use him very creatively as well. But Roquan is a beast. He's still at the kind of tail end, but still in his prime right now. And like you said, he gets a team that I think is kind of a great matchup for what he's good at. So I don't really see many negatives here. I mean, I can't think, like I said, if the Lions do what they do well, by the way, which is running the ball, then it's good for Roquan as well. If they're running up the gut all game long, Roquan's going to be there too. So it's kind of one of those that I really like where it's like the game script almost doesn't really matter that much to this prop. There's ones that will help it. There's ones that will emphasize it, but he has a lot of different paths to victory here. And that's kind of the number one thing I'm looking for with props just in general. So definitely like this call right here. And yeah, just Roquan, keep doing Roquan things, you know?
Yeah. And the last thing I want to bring up was just the injuries on the Baltimore side that obviously can make it a little bit harder. And maybe they do want to try to run more. Kyle Van Noy, I know, is out. I think Azubuike is out as well. So missing some big guys. But obviously Roquan's going to just be there. He's just always there. And it's just cool to watch, dude. Just a guy like that. Just run play, being able to make all those plays in the passing game. It's just, the dude is so good. And I'm just going to continue to ride till the wheels fall off. So keep it rolling, Roquan. And, like I said, I don't think the game script matters as much, even though, yes, there are a few that would help us out a little bit.
Yeah, and the D-line being banged up too. Madubuike is out and Van Noy are both out. Van Noy was their leading sack leader. Obviously, Madubuike, great inside kind of run guy, just in general force. My problem is every time it feels like the Ravens are just left with no-name backups. Just with how well coached they are, it feels like they still show up. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to say, like, I want to bet on Monty this week. Everyone loves Gibbs. He gets more snaps. This happens every year since his rookie season. And I feel like I'm the guy that just goes, okay, I'll take the discount on Montgomery. I'll take the discount because he's still going to get out there. He's going to grind it. As long as Dan Campbell is here, Montgomery is going to get those reps because that guy, you need 3 people to bring him down. He's a beast, and he's got a good, workhorse work ethic as well. So I just think, like, I want to get to Montgomery, and I'm looking at this roster with the injuries, but the Ravens just have a way of just playing. And if Roquan is honestly a really big part of it, when you got a guy like that behind you, as well as that Hamilton, there's just so much trust across the board. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. I love this prop right here.
Yeah, dude, and I can't say enough nice things about Kyle Hamilton, dude. That guy is so fucking good. That guy is so fucking good. To see a guy that's technically a safety with a tackle prop at like 8,
like 7.5 or
7.5 plus 130 to the over, but like,
yeah,
any safety to be that high is crazy, but they do bring him down in the box quite a bit there. So let's do a quick recap, Stu, and we'll take a look at the chat. We got 50 of you guys in here. I think we're at 21 likes. Let's get that to 25. Let's get 5 more in there before we get into some questions.
Sounds good. Yeah, and I still got a long shot coming here in a second that I'm excited to talk about as well. Oh, we're going to recap. Sorry, my bad. Lamar Jackson. I was like waiting for the question. I was like, oh yeah. Okay, we got Lamar Jackson over 45.5 rushing yards, minus 110. Widely available right now. Pretty much everyone except FanDuel has it. They're at 46, but I'd play it up to 48, 49.
Awesome. And I will be rolling with Roquan Smith, tackle assist over 9.5 tonight at minus 105 on DraftKings. Stu, we got a long shot from you. What are you rolling with today in the 53.5 point total?
Yeah, I want to make sure I think it's still up. I'm going Isaac Tesla over 40 receiving yards at plus 375. And you can get 375 on 365. You can get 350 on FanDuel as well. And yeah, so Isaac Tesla is interesting because he's one of those guys that the Lions overdrafted the fuck out of compared to like consensus ADP. They took him like way higher than most draft guys had him ranked, a couple, even a round or two higher than projected. And guess what? This team has arguably had the best draft room in football in the last 5 years. In this regime that they've had, they've been fantastic at spawning talent. So that was already just an interesting thing. Weird usage profile, was not even really a full-time player in college, was not the best player on his team at any point in college. And he just kind of went under the radar, wasn't super incredibly involved. And guess what? He comes out in preseason. He tears it down, gets all the hype in the world, so much that they trade Tim Patrick, their wide receiver 3, away right before the season starts, after preseason was over, brings down a couple crazy catches in the preseason. Guess what he does in week 1? Garbage time at the end of the game, when nothing matters, Tesla had a nice one-handed catch. A lot of fans loved it. Guess what? Coaches hype him up. He gets rewarded in the media. He gets a 30% usage bump the next week, but they're beating the crap out of the other team. It's really not a good passing game script. There's really no need to get involved. That being said, still brings down another one-handed catch in incredible fashion. So it's one of those things where he had a nice showing week 1. He had all the hype in the world coming this season. He got the usage bump in week 2. He delivered on it, even though the game script didn't really need that much. And now we have another opportunity here in week 3 to add to that usage profile, to add to those opportunities. And man, Tesla's just he's taking advantage of every opportunity he's had so far. He rocked in the preseason. Tim Patrick was good last year. Making him trade away your wide receiver 3 is big, even if you're not playing as many 3 wide receiver sets. So I think Tesla gets more involved. I like his longest reception if we're just not talking long shots. I don't remember if it's 11.5 or 13.5. But I think 13 might have got bumped up to there. I still think that's a good look right there. He's only probably going to get 1 or 2 catches, in my opinion. It's very unlikely we get a high volume of opportunity here. But I do think like longest reception, I think these kind of downfield plays are where he's going to thrive. And then in the red zone as well. I think I took him for a touchdown. He obviously has great hands with these freaking one-handed catches. Like, the dude's got something. The coaching staff keeps talking about wanting to get him more involved. They did a little bit last week, but we're kind of stopped by the game script. Well, guess what? We got a 53.5 total. We got a game where a lot of offense is expected to be scored. And I was kind of telling you before the game, this corner room, right, for the Ravens is very good. Wiggins is very good. I was a huge fan of him out of college. It's good to see him play just as good in the pros. I mean, clear, cornerback 1 on this, like high level, can match up with the wide receiver 1 guy. And then you obviously got Humphrey over the middle. He's going to be in the slot a decent amount, which is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a great matchup right there. And then the cornerback 3 was supposed to be your boy, Jair Alexander, but he was given a break. He was getting benched for being washed, I guess. I don't know what the medical term we're using here is, but he's getting the week off, essentially, to get right, whatever the fuck that means, which means we got a Woozy in there at cornerback. Last week, he got attacked when he was out there. I expect them to attack him again. So he's the guy you want to go out in the secondary. We're not 100% sure who it's going to be, but logic tells you that Humphrey is going to be on Amon-Ra, and likely Wiggins is going to see a decent amount of J-Mo, or when Amon-Ra bumps outside in 2 wide receiver sets. So when we're in 3 wide receiver sets, I think he probably gets an advantageous matchup, and that's something I want to attack here. So I just think Tesla's like prime breakout opportunity right here. I like pretty much any prop that is up for him right now, and I think he's going to be a guy that, you might never see this line this low again, if it's shootout potential,
No, for sure. For sure. And I think that kind of correlates with mine here, because I will be rolling with a long shot. And the thing is, I'm going to go pretty high now. I'm going to play this for a quarter unit, because they're actually only 3 is a pretty big difference here. So I'm going to be rolling with a small one here. I'm going to be rolling with Jared Goff, 44 pass attempts over on DraftKings. It's at plus 512. I was going to roll with just 40, but that was 225. And I'm like, if this game script is getting the way I want it to be, the way I want things to roll, I'm going to take the extra 4 and hope they get an extra first down in there. Reason why I look at these is last year, obviously Ben Johnson was there. We're not going to use that completely, but they lost 2 games last year in the regular season. One of them against Tampa Bay, 55 pass attempts in that game. Their other loss last year, the Bills, 59 pass attempts in his 2 losses last year. This is a really brutal spot. I'm not gonna lie, having to travel to Baltimore here. Obviously, the spread indicates a 4.5 total, so obviously you're expecting them to be down in this game. Baltimore is not one of the top first half scoring teams. It was Detroit and them last year as the 2 top scoring teams. But obviously at home versus on the road obviously makes a little bit of a difference here as well. I just if this game script gets the way I want it to, Lamar starts hot, gets these guys down, maybe like a 14-3 start. I don't know, man. I think those first 2 drives are going to try and establish a run. I don't think they're going to have that much success with it. And I think they're going to be like, okay, well, why can't we just have our running game be the quick screen game? And we've seen that happen quite a bit against the Packers earlier this year already. I think he had 39 pass attempts, and I mean, the Packers held the ball for fucking ever in that game. He went 31 for 39, only threw for 225 in that game. I think we could see something around the same lights there. But I think that Baltimore's a little more explosive on our offense and can probably score a lot quicker than having to roll, 10-minute drives. Like the Packers had multiple 10-minute drives in that game, right? And I just think that we get a little bit more time of possession on the Detroit side. I think probably early in the first quarter, maybe it's only like 6 or 8 pass attempts. But, once it gets to the third quarter, fourth quarter, when we need to make something happen, they have so many different skill guys. Both running backs can make plays in the passing game. Sign me up, dude. I think that this number at over 5-1 is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a lot of pass attempts, but like you said, if it kind of plays up to the game script, then it's going to be pretty live. It was in contention there last year as well. I think my thing is if I just liked a prop like this, I would probably build it out in a parlay more. Like if I expect Jared Goff to throw the ball 44 times, then I probably wouldn't just play it straight. I'd probably include some of the other. I don't know if you can necessarily parlay attempts. I don't think you can do that.
I don't. At least on DraftKings, I don't know if I can.
I would go 300 yards and then include, whoever I like the most. JMO 80, Laporta. Because if you're just betting, you're not getting who the stuff's going to go to, even if you don't know to an exact extent. I feel like 44 attempts, you got to build out. Corollary parlay. In my opinion, that's kind of how I would play this kind of stuff.
I would say I mostly agree with you. My little pushback on that is if I would go to 300 for Goff, is 200. It's plus 200.
Yeah.
Right? And I've seen these dudes get beat. I mean, obviously I know they're beat up, right? I know that the defensive line for the Ravens beat up a little bit, but Goff had 39 attempts and 31 completions and only threw for 225 in that other game against the Packers. I don't think that Harbaugh is letting these guys beat him over the top, right? I think it's going to be, hey, can you dink and dunk your way down there? Fuck yeah, these guys can. That's kind of what they want to do. And then obviously have a deep shot here once in a while. But the only thing is, it's there. You have to do them in the same game ones. But to only have 300 be at 210, that's kind of gross. I'm not trying to play Goff at 210. Nick Bosa out for the year. Wow.
Yeah, that's a blow for them. He put the little thumbs down to the camera, right? I saw that yesterday when he was walking off. He did like that. So.
Wow. I did not know it was that bad. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, I just saw something with CD came on my phone. I'm checking that right now. So unlikely to play. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be doing a fucking Packers money line, which I don't I don't like that. What are they going to be, like a 12 point? 10?
What's the matchup? Packers and what?
Packers at home, or Packers in Dallas now with no CD.
I mean, probably after last week, 9.5, 10 maybe, because they lost last week. Maybe they just don't take that much of an L for that in the market, but I don't know. I
might bet the Packers at 7, right? They're 6.5 right now.
Yeah.
I just watched Caleb Williams for 300 on your head, bro. God damn. Holy shit.
The Packers, they're like I said it last week, but Reed is kind of big losing him unless Golden.
Oh, it is. Yeah. No. Yeah. Offensively, that was tough. But
And like Kraft needs to be healthy too. Like I don't know, he looks a little banged up. Maybe like
I think he only played like 40%.
Yep.
Snaps. So.
Which by the way, I had fucking Musgrave touchdown. Shout out to that third string motherfucker who came in and the white guy on the side. Like
he has 2 touchdowns this year already.
So annoying, bro. So annoying. Because
first touchdown, John Fitzpatrick.
Celebration. You like half fist bump. You're like. And then it's like, oh my God, it's another fucking. I love backup tight ends, and now we got third string backup tight ends stealing my second string touchdown. So it's annoying. That was tough.
The worst part is, I think he has the same number that Musgrave had last year, if I remember correctly. So like, I thought it was Musgrave too, and I'm a fucking Packer fan. I watch every game, and I thought it was Musgrave too. I'm like, oh shit, no, that guy's way too big. That guy was way too tall. But let's take a look at the. Progressive T got him at 5.5 yesterday. Good stuff. How do we feel about D-Hop touchdown? You should get more snaps this week. I don't know. I feel like you just got to pick one oscillatory option for the Ravens, right? You just got to pick like who do you think it's going to be? Because there's a Bateman game, there's a D-Hop game, there's probably going to be a Mark Andrews game, Kostler, whatever the fuck is third string tight end who's going to be in there with no likely. Pick one. And one of them will do good. One of them will do good. Zay Flowers, Derek, they're going to get theirs, but one of those auxiliary guys is going to do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tricky because I broke down the exact like wide receiver target numbers for every Ravens guy in my write-up, and like everyone just gets targeted. Fucking Tez Walker gets targeted. Like random guys get targeted. So I don't know. I like D-Hop. I actually went into last week expecting to bet his under, and he was involved more than I expected. I don't know if this is a good comp, but it's been on my mind a little bit. I'm thinking D-Hop might be like fucking Knicks Derrick Rose. We're going into the season. I'm thinking this guy fucking sucks. It's over. You know, he kind of packed it in last year. He had a great career. Now he's going to collect some checks. And then fucking Knicks Derrick Rose was good. He was almost 6th man of the year. He came out, he was energized. He cared. He was in for important situations, and they actually used him. And I think that's what's going to be the case with Hopkins, because once it gets to third down, once we get into the red zone, that's when Hopkins gets out there. And hey, he might not be the fastest guy. He never was the fastest guy. He's got fucking glue hands, and that's a valuable skill to have on third downs in the red zone. So I like D-Hop. I like him more than Bateman this week. But the tricky part is someone else in the comments went Bateman. It's the Bateman game. They play a lot of man coverage. It's like, well, all these guys have pretty good matchups on paper. You know, most of these guys, Hopkins is good versus man coverage. Zay Flowers is great versus man coverage. Bateman is good versus man coverage. It's like, okay, so it's tricky to pick which one of these guys is going to have success, but I do like the Hopkins numbers. I like the touchdown. I wish it was better than 400 when you do have to compete with 2 tight ends, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and then Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, like 400, really. But it's because the whole world kind of knows that when he is in, it's likely going to be those kind of red zone opportunities. So I like it, but the price, I'm not going to lie, is pretty shit for touchdown. But I like the yards as well. I think he's going to be out there, and he impressed me so far, and I think they're going to keep using him in big moments. And hey, this is a big primetime game. Hopkins is a big primetime player. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, you look at some of these numbers, like D-Hop, I'm pretty sure it's 20, what is it, 24.5 is plus 100 for his receiving yards in there is what I'm seeing right now.
That feels way too high. It was in like the teens before.
I'm just looking on. When it pops up, it gives you like the receptions one with the ladder options, and it only does 15, 25. And I'm going to the bottom of the screen right now to find his actual receiving yards, because DeAndre Hopkins is at 23.5 on DraftKings right now.
Yeah, it opened up at 18.5. So you're already clearly seeing the market kind of adjusting to that. But yeah, longest reception at 13.5 would be how I would play it, just to be clear. That's the one I would choose of them all. But yeah, definitely a lot of competition here. I wonder if they got my boy Tez Walker listed for any props, because he'll get a deep shot every once in a while.
Tez Walker has no receiving yards line on here.
12-1 touchdown isn't great either. It could be a little better, but it's not bad. Tez Walker will get a bomb or two every once in a while, but that's what I did in college as well. Cashed a couple of those back in the day, but I would like a little bit of a better price, maybe 15-1.
All right, Stu. I think it's time. We're right at the hour mark. Anything else you want to say about this game before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I think we did a pretty good job. I feel pretty good about the breakdown. I felt pretty good about the breakdowns last week. So just ready to keep that momentum going. If you want my thoughts on every single player, I wrote it all up over on Substack as well. You can check out my Substack. I posted it. Hey, I'm top 20 new bestsellers. So I didn't know that was a thing, but I got an email this morning. So I'll take that arbitrary validation. I appreciate that, Substack. Thank you. And yeah, hopefully you guys come join me over there. Most of the write up I did for the game is free. There's a paywall at the bottom, but most of it is free. So you can check out my thoughts on all these guys. And yeah, drop any questions you got here as well. Leave a like on the video, and let's just keep on growing. Let's keep on winning bets. And yeah, hopefully I think we got an awesome game tonight. So it's good. Some of these kind of, when we got Dolphins versus Bills, like off the show, I'm like, okay, whatever. Tonight I'm actually fired up to watch this game. So definitely pumped for that.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you guys. 40 of you guys still with us an hour later. We got 25 likes. Appreciate you guys for keeping that like button for us. And we will continue to hopefully put up some numbers tonight. We have 2 long shots, 2 straight bets for you. And hopefully coming back Wednesday talking about some winners. We got another really good primetime game. We got Seattle at Arizona. Shout out Seahawks, baby. Let's go. It'll be a fun one to talk about. NFC West showdown. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck, and we'll catch you on Wednesday.